Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Sister Love Squadcast. We have all 6 members of the squad here today, and this is a special episode because at the end of each month, we are going to do a summary episode on our Hot 10 list. So, for those of you that don't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, what those are is each month we pick a theme. And then we pick 10 songs to fit that theme and we post them. So, feel free to go to our Facebook page and check those out. They should all be posted by today. And we're going to go through and just talk a little bit about our picks. This month's theme was songs about color.
Yep, that's right. It was. How did everybody feel about this theme? Was it kind of hard to pick?
I was one of the
Yes.
last people to pick, so I was kind of
I
scrambling.
was kind of surprised how many titles or have color in them.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Once you think about it, there are quite a bit. Obviously, we all found 60.
Well, we didn't each find 60 apiece.
No,
we
but-
found 60 altogether because
Yeah.
we try not to pick the same songs at all. So, we might have favorites on each other's lists, but we like to introduce new music to everybody. So we try to never pick the same songs.
Technically,
Mm-hmm.
it isn't songs about color.
No, it probably isn't because some of them are just mention color.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Yeah.
Do
Because-
you have a song that's about yellow?
I have a song
a song.
that is
yes.
about colors, I think.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I have one that's about
Well-
colors.
See, that was
yeah.
hard for me because I'm thinking about color.
No, it just had to mention color.
Yes, I got that after
Yeah, you're right. I didn't title the theme very well there in that sense.
Well, it catches the eye, right?
But do you have a song about color?
Actually, in my list, I was just looking over this, and I'm going to have to say that Something in Red by Lori Morgan is technically about color.
No, it's
Is it or
about a
about the
dress.
something?
Yeah, it's about dress.
Because it goes through different items. She's always looking for something to wear in a different color.
But it's still about a dress. Like, I'm going to say Colors of the Wind is about color.
Or is it
Or is it about the wind?
Deep Purple.
When the Deep Purple Falls, I think, Shelly, you have to win on that one.
Deep
Yeah.
Purple is about the color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Or is it about a dream?
Deep Purple, yeah, or about the sky, because that's technically what the Deep Purple is.
Deep Purple Falls on Garden
Yeah.
Walls.
it's
But
like
I
the
think that
light.
one could count.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, who wants to start with one of their songs? Does anybody have something to share about one of their top 10 songs?
I actually do. So I actually did my research on most of them.
Okay.
And my number, I think is number 5. No, number 6. The Clear Blue Sky by George Strait.
Mandy loves 90s country.
Okay.
Blue,
So-
clear sky.
Yeah. Blue Clear Sky. That's
Yeah,
what I
you said clear blue.
Okay.
Oh.
So that ties into the story.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 3 writers of it, and the first writer was Bob. I'm gonna torture this, DiPiero, and he just got off watching Forrest Gump,
Oh, okay.
and in that there's a line in there where Forrest Gump says Jenny was gone,
Mm-hmm.
and then out of the blue clear sky, I got a letter from her.
Oh.
Mm.
And he went, that's kind of cool. So he went to his other people and stuff, and he says, how about this? And they were like, that's not going to work. It's the other way around. So eventually, George Strait contacted him and said, where are you from? And he says, what? He says, where are you from? He says, I'm from Ohio. He says, well, I'm from Texas. And in Texas, you say clear blue sky. And he says, do you want to change it, right? And he says, no, I don't. And then at the end, George Strait contacted him back and says, you were right. This is a good song like that.
Blue,
So-
clear sky.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess most people don't say it that
Yeah,
way.
it's clear blue sky.
But now that I think about it as the
You
song.
never thought of it as like weird, like it's flipped?
No.
Oh, I always did. Like the first time, that's kind of what caught my attention the first time I heard it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
it was
the point.
released March of 1996.
Well, I think he owes Forrest some copyright right there.
I know.
All right. Yeah. I actually have a lot on my songs, and this was fun to dig into some of these songs because it kind of brought me down some rabbit trails. I've been getting into the songwriting side of things more and learning about songwriters. The number one on my chart actually was my coloring book. And my version, of course, is the one by Cliff Richard from Love is Forever. I absolutely love it. The first time I heard the song, I thought it was kind of weird because I saw the title and I'm like, my coloring book, what kind of a song is that, you know? But I also heard a version by Kitty Cowan. And this song was originally released in 1962 and was written by Fred Ebb and John Kander. And Fred Ebb and John Kander actually were a stage musical writing duo. So they wrote quite a few different musicals. I didn't recognize many of them except Cabaret, which was their biggest. The interesting thing about it is it was first performed by a singer, Sandy Stewart, who I had never heard of. And she performed it on the Perry Como Craft Music Hall. I tried to find a video of that because I thought that'd be kind of cool to see, but they don't have any video. They do have her recording, however. And this song, My Coloring Book, received, how many was it? Let me see if I can see in my notes. I think it was nominated for the first. I think they said they got 20,000 fan letters about the performance.
Wow.
This song was that popular, and I highly recommend listening to it because, like I said, my first thought was my coloring book. What is this? Is it a kid's song? But it's actually taking kind of the simple thought of a coloring book, and it's talking about coloring your emotions. Each color represents something that they're feeling in their breakup. And I think that's interesting, especially with what we know of how colors do affect our emotions.
Oh yeah,
And that's why color is very important.
And the lack of color.
Exactly. Exactly. And we can't heal properly, not to get off of it, but we can't heal properly if we don't have color. Because that's why blue is so commonly used. We were just talking about this last night. Blue is so commonly used in songs. It represents the communication point. So that was about my coloring book. I just thought that was really interesting, that it started out as that and was written by a duo that did musicals. So
Well, we'll go off of, I kind of went down from the top and I didn't research all my songs, but I got quite a bit of interesting information. And my number one was True Blue by Madonna.
that was your number one?
That was my number one. Which the single was released September 29th, 1986. Now, it was released on an album after that, but it was released as a single first, and the B-side was Ain't No Big Deal. And her and Stephen Bray wrote it together. And I looked a little bit into Stephen Bray, and he was her ex-boyfriend, actually.
At the time or now?
At the time. They dated before Madonna was really big, and she was more into rock and stuff instead of pop.
Okay.
And she met him and took her on as a drummer and stuff, and then she signed with a studio that didn't want her drummer to be in a relationship with her. You know, they're like, that's not good. So, but they still wrote tons of songs together and stuff. So, and True Blue actually came to be because she had just started dating Sean Penn.
Okay.
And Stephen Bray said about it, he's like, she was so in love. This was like her song for him. It was totally written in love. And he's like, when she's in love, she's creative and she can write and write and write. And when she's not, yeah. She said she had no idea what love was at that time. But she was super she was super in love with him, and that's what True Blue is about. It's a love song to Sean Penn.
Interesting. And her ex-boyfriend helped her write this love
Yep.
song
Yep.
for
Yep.
her new love.
It's like the song You Look So Good in Love almost.
Well, the song isn't.
No, the story.
Oh,
behind
him
it.
seeing her
Yeah.
being so in love actually made him happy.
Yeah. It seemed like they got along just fine, and he was happy for her. I mean, and it was a hit, so that would make him happy. He also was, he did the play The Color Purple.
Okay.
Oh.
He did all the music for that. So,
So
I think he even won a
play
Tony for
version.
it. Yep.
That's after the movie came out.
Well, it was a book
Mm.
first, right?
Yeah, it was a book
Yeah.
first. I think it was the book, the play, and then the movie.
Oh,
I believe.
probably. Do you have a song, Linda?
Oh yeah, I have a few here. I didn't do my homework. Zena did it for me.
You don't have to admit to that.
Oh yeah, because I'm going to read it as and learn it as we go.
If she can read my handwriting.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was looking. This isn't in any order, but I put down "White Sport Coat" by Marty Robbins,
Mm-hmm.
and it was recorded in Nashville at Bradley Studios, and the arranger and session. Is that a conductor?
Yes.
Session conductor was Ray Conniff.
Oh.
You know, Ray Conniff singers.
Yeah,
Yep,
you know
yep,
all those
yep.
records you
Yeah, you
find.
can always find the records in
Yeah,
Goodwill.
he really cranked them out.
Yeah.
At the request of Marty Robbins. Anyhow, this was interesting to me that songs come about just by everyday mundane things.
Right.
Mhm.
And he was driving somewhere. Let's see, where was it that you said?
I think it said that he was on his way to a gig, to a show.
Yeah, but how you put this, he was approximately 20 minutes being transported in a standard automobile.
That's how it was written in the source I found. And I'm like, that seems really weird. Is this AI? But it was sourced from his words in an interview.
Standard. What
A
kind of
standard automobile. I thought the same thing.
I
That
have
is
to look
kinda
up what
weird.
standard automobile is.
Yeah.
Like,
Is
is it a specific kind of car or something?
or just an
Mhm.
ordinary old, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You know. Anyhow, he was in Ohio, but he went. What it sounds like here, it was prom night,
Yep.
and he happened to be going by and saw all these kids in prom gear, apparently white sport coats back in the day,
With pink
Mhm.
carnations.
with a pink carnation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That was interesting as I was reading that because that approximately 20 minutes, that's how long it took him to write it, he said.
Right.
I'm like,
But he always wrote songs quickly.
I know.
You know, El Paso was just on a trip down to Texas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a knack for that. I don't know. I can write probably 5 choruses in 20 minutes, but they won't be finished for another.
I mean, I'm not going to brag to be like Marty Robbins and that, but I do, when I go to write a song, I have to sit there and finish it.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just a rough draft, I have to have the whole thing.
Oh, that's my problem. My problem is I get too excited. I have a good chorus. It's fun. I get inspired, and then it's like it's done in my mind.
It's got no head or feet.
Yeah, I'm like Frank Sinatra in Young at Heart. It's got no head and feet. Now you have to watch that movie to get the reference. Yeah, no, that's a great song too, and I mean, who doesn't love to sing along to that one?
I also
Sport
have
chord.
one that opened my eyes. I did not know this.
What was that?
Nights in White Satin.
Yeah, we were.
You know how you go along in your years and years and years and just don't even, you think you have it with this song?
Mhm.
And this is one of them. You know, you sing the wrong lyrics and everything like that. I love this song. It's very pretty.
It is.
I didn't listen to the words, mostly the chorus,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very easy.
And this is
I
by
love you. Oh, I love you. I love you.
who's this by again?
The Moody Blues.
Oh, Moody Blues. That's right.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's written by Justin Haywood. He's part of it. His girlfriend sent him some white sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my mind, and this came out when 67. I was young,
Mhm.
and I thought it was Nights with a K.
In
And I have gone all these years, and some odd how many years I'm not going to say, but and now I have a whole new perspective on this song.
No. It's nights like the night in white satin sheets.
Yeah, he's sleeping in white satin sheets at night.
Although there's a whole inspiration for a new song we can write about brave knights wearing white satin.
I guess that's all. That's I'm admitting that failure.
I'm sure
We
you're
should
not
do
the
a
only one.
program on misheard
Lyrics.
lyrics and just you go along life thinking that's the truth.
We should do that. Because even if you hear the lyrics right, just like you heard the lyrics technically right, it's your perception of the way, in your head you're arranging it.
But the song didn't make sense with
With-
the title
True.
to me. But then I thought, well, a lot of songs don't make sense with the title in 67, 68.
Right. Maybe it's just like I started a joke or something.
Or
Yeah.
Incense
Yeah.
and peppermints.
Yeah.
kinda,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Winchester
top priority
Cathedral.
on my list. I just liked the song and I liked the
Yeah.
sing along with the chorus.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most misheard lyrics is "Somebody's Fool" by Connie Francis. Everybody
that's true.
says, "Everybody's somebody's fool. Everybody's somebody's baby."
I
It's
thought it was for
Actually,
years,
Mhm.
plaything.
which
Yeah.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's somebody's fool. We haven't
Yeah.
sing that.
Everybody's somebody's plaything.
Yeah, which makes total sense. But I always thought, when I first heard it, everybody's somebody's baby. And the funny thing is, when you're performing it, you see people in the audience saying that.
Yeah.
Did Dean say that?
Oh, when he did,
He
he, do
didn't
that
do
one?
that
He
one.
did "Everybody Loves Somebody" sometime.
He might have done.
He might have recorded that one,
I'm gonna have
but
to look that up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sang it, you think?
That would sound like something Dean would say.
Yeah.
Sing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's
I always
see
thought
here.
it was that. But then I thought Knights were in white satin.
with the K.
With a K. Well, while she's looking that up, "Everybody Somebody's Fool" kind of leads to one of my songs on here. My number 4 was "Venus in Blue Jeans," and I really like Mark Winter's version, as everybody here in the squad knows.
Traitor.
It's better. I think it's better than Jimmy Clanton's.
In your opinion.
I love the arrangement of it. Now I have notes on both because you got to do that.
They probably have more information on Jimmy's.
Yes, but technically, okay, Mark Winters actually charted better. Now, it was just in the UK, but it hit number 4 in the UK. And Jimmy Clanton's version only hit number 7 in the US.
Oh.
Yeah, we have to admit.
And that was Billboard. It hit only number 10 on Cashbox
Oh,
Top
wow.
100.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway, how it relates to "Everybody's Somebody's Fool" is the song was written by Howard Greenfield and Jack Keller, which was a writing duo. They actually did quite a few songs. They also, I believe, if I'm thinking of the right one, I think they were the ones that also knew Neil Sedaka.
That sounds right.
In fact, when I was looking, I believe Neil Sedaka got credited for writing this song in America, but he didn't write it. He just was there at the studio when Jimmy Clanton picked that one, and it was kind of a throwaway song. Like, they just needed a song to record, and it had been Barry Mann did the demo for it.
Sang
There's
the
a-
demo.
Yep, there's just a demo sitting there. He's like, well, why don't we try this one? It's not going to go anywhere, but,
How many
it's
hits
one of those
come
things.
because of that?
Anyway, that duo wrote "Everybody's Somebody's Fool," "Run to Him" by Bobby Vinton, the theme to "Bewitched," the theme to the TV show "Gidget,"
Okay.
and this one's for you, Elsie, "Auntie Griselda" by the Monkees.
Oh dear.
Oh, no.
That was one
So-
that I could probably do without, but
Yeah, the same person that wrote "Venus in Blue Jeans," that duo wrote "Everybody's Somebody's Fool."
They must have been having an off day with Auntie Griselda.
But honestly, I think the reason that I do like Mark Winter's version better is the arrangement of it. And that's one thing that I've been looking at is the different producers. You don't realize, like, I like this singer and this singer, or you also like the producers and how they
Yeah.
arrange, because you don't realize how much that affects the song. And the man that was the producer for Mark Winter's version was Tony Hatch, and he arranged "Forget Him" by Bobby Rydell, as well as "Downtown," Petula Clark, and "I Know a Place." In fact, him and Petula Clark became the British version of Burt Bacharach and Dionne Warwick. Like, they were a major duo together over in England.
Well, yeah, both Downtown and I Know a Place have great instrumentation.
Yeah, yep, great
and
beat.
distinct that fit the song perfectly.
I know it's so interesting, and this is what I think is great. Hopefully, our listeners enjoy this because it's the background people that really make it. We see and we hear the singer, and I'm not saying they put a lot of work out. That is true, but really, it's the people in the background that make them who they are.
Now, to be a
Just
little
like in theater.
It's
Yep,
true.
yep, yep.
Mhm.
To be a
People don't
little
realize it.
patriotic on it, I will say Jimmy Clanton's version was arranged by Carole King and Jerry Goffin.
Oh,
So
dynamic
you
duo right
you gotta give it to that a little bit, but
there. Yeah.
I prefer Mark.
Okay, so my number one this month is Colors of the Wind, which I already kind of brought up. But I actually don't have too many notes on this one. But it was written by Alan Menken and Stephen
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
And Disney was looking for a partner for Alan Menken because Howard Ashman had died
Right.
in 1991. So they had went through a couple. Tim Rice with Aladdin in 92, and then
Rice is good with lyrics. So.
Elton John did the lyrics and music for Lion King
King.
94, but Alan Menken arranged it. So then in 95, it would be Pocahontas with Stephen Schwartz. And they do a very good job, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Schwartz was the one who did the lyrics. He based it off Native American poetry.
Oh,
There
that
was
makes sense.
Yeah.
the Blue Corn Moon line. So he took it from a Native American love poem that says, "I will come to you in the moon of green corn." He didn't like the green part. He thought it sounded like, the moon is made of green cheese. So he decided blue is better because it reminded him of blue moons, which is an actual phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
and blue and corn tortillas.
Oh my word! Just
So,
taking artistic liberties there.
But it won three awards. One was Academy Award for Best Original Song. One was a Grammy for Best Song Written for a Motion Picture, TV, or Other Visual Media. And then a Golden Globe for Best Original Song. And it was covered by Brian Wilson. I thought that was interesting. He covered it. Vanessa
I would
Williams
have to
also
hear that.
did for the movie.
Maybe we need to do a secondhand songs on that
Yeah.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vanessa Williams' version got put in the top 10.
Okay, so I have one, and it's definitely a classic. And I didn't think it would have this much background to it, but because it's kind of self-explanatory. But the actual background to when she wrote the song is interesting. "Coat of Many Colors" by Dolly Parton. It says, Parton composed the song in 1969 while traveling with Porter Wagner on a tour bus. Because she could find no paper as the song came to her, she wrote it on the back of a dry cleaning receipt from one of Wagner's suits. When the song became a hit, Wagner had the receipt framed. She recorded the song in April 1971, making it the title song for her Coat of Many Colors album. The song reached number 4 on the U.S. country singles charts. And then there's actually a missing verse to it because it was printed on the gatefold of the record,
Oh.
but it's never appears in any of her recordings of it. It's, "Through life I've remained happy and good luck is on my side. I have everything that anyone could ever want from life. But now is as precious as but nothing is as precious as my mama's memory and my coat of many colors that my mama made for me."
Hmm.
Yeah.
And on that note, if anybody has not watched the Coat of Many Colors movie,
Oh, that's a great
you
one.
need to
It's
watch it.
good. Yeah.
Really good.
Actually, I have one of my notes leads into that. So it's for, and I'll talk about more about this, but "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue?" The pianist that does that epic piano part in it
Mm-hmm.
was actually hired last minute because this original or regular session keyboardist had suffered a stroke and had numbness in his hands.
Hmm.
So the guy who played it was Hargis, quote unquote, Pig Robbins. He was a blind piano player, and he also played piano on Coat of Many Colors.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and The Gambler, and Some Days Are Diamonds, and Jolene.
But while we're still on Coat of Many Colors,
Elsie just kind of jumped in on her story.
It did pertain to Coat of Many Colors. So
Yeah.
anyway.
the actual coat they don't have because it was torn apart and used for something else, but Dolly's mother actually made one for her display. And then Porter Wagner donated the receipt,
Oh.
the dry cleaning receipt. So it's in Chasing Rainbows Museum at Dollywood.
So it's in the museum at Dollywood?
Yeah.
I think we saw it, didn't we?
I don't think we went in the museum, did we?
I'm not
We were just
sure.
in the hotel, so that had some of her stuff too.
There was that one
Yeah.
place that had some of the outfits. It's been a long time. We should go back to Dollywood.
And it looks like, I don't know if this is true or not, but it looks like the coat that her mom made for the display is the one used in the movie.
Yeah, it does.
That would make sense.
Did
Yeah.
you ever look up to see if Dean Martin sang
I did.
Everybody Somebody's Fool?
Dean Martin singing that one.
He
Lots of
sang
people did,
Everybody
though.
Loves Somebody.
I don't know. It just sounded like something Dean Martin might change.
Yeah.
It did.
And maybe he
It
did
did.
on his show, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe he never
Yeah.
recorded it, but he sang it on his show.
And he would totally add baby
Yeah.
instead of plaything. You
Mhm.
can
Yep.
hear it.
Well, I got one more. My number 3 one was Mellow Yellow.
Oh,
no.
no.
Oh, no.
It was recorded and it was written by Donovan, a Scottish singer-songwriter, in 1966. It hit number 2 in the U.S. And a lot of people have different ideas of what it was about and stuff.
Yeah.
And all he said in our interview was a laid-back, chilled-out guy, or a guy that's going to calm me down, basically.
Yeah, it's
So
nonsense.
Mhm.
It's not really anything has to do with drugs or anything like that. He says there's nothing in it about it.
There's
That's
so
most
many
of the time.
songs of that era that people are like, this is about drugs, that's about drugs. No. You
No.
have a dirty mind.
People always. That's kind of a good thing to do in songwriting and a bad thing. You know, one of the genius things about songwriting, if you can get a good tune and something that makes people sing nonsense, they'll be talking about it forever
Yep.
because they'll be trying to figure out what it's about.
Well, and it's gotten to a point where it's even really bad with the internet and everything, but publicity is publicity, good or bad. You know, as long as people are talking about you, was kind of the mindset. Now it's become even more so, you know, celebrities will do stuff outrageous and stuff just to get in the headlines and get in the algorithms. But it is true, you know, if they can start even making stories up about your songs, even if it's not necessarily the best stories, they're still talking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I do have to say that my number 2 song, I really liked looking into this one. And that is Red Roses for a Blue Lady. And first of all, I love the song. The version that I put down as my favorite is Wayne Newton. And I think that he does it really well. And I'm not like I like some of Wayne Newton's. I couldn't listen maybe to a full album of his. You know, I'm not a huge Wayne Newton fan, but I think he does this song really well. And you feel the sentiment. But the songwriters for this one, I had no idea, are Sid Tepper and Roy C. Bennett. And they are a songwriting duo who wrote tons of songs that I love. They had lots of success. They actually wrote The Young Ones for Cliff Richard for his movie, and then 21 other songs for him. And I was looking through there. I'm like, oh my goodness, these are a bunch of my favorites. Plus, they wrote 43 songs for Elvis in his movies. So they wrote Slice and Sand and Puppet on a String, which is one of my favorite Elvis songs. But they really have a wide range of the type of songs they sang. They even sang some novelty songs wrote some novelty songs like The Naughty Lady of Shady Lane, which anybody who hasn't heard that song, go listen to it.
All the way through.
Yep.
That was by the Ames brothers.
Yes. Yep. They wrote a third of the songs on Blue Hawaii. And this song, Red Roses for a Blue Lady, was actually first recorded, which surprised me. They wrote it and was recorded in 1948. I thought that it was, a hit in the 60s with Wayne Newton, because that's when it resurfaced. But it was first recorded by actor-singer John Laurens and hit number 2 on the weekly Your Hit Parade radio survey in 1949. And then in 1965 is when it came back as a big hit, and it was 3 different artists, and this kind of surprised me also. Vic Dana, which I do like Vic Dana. He has some nice songs. He recorded it, and then there was an instrumental by, I never say his last name right, Bert Kaempfert. You don't know? Anybody know how to pronounce it? I've seen his instrumental versions of things on records and that. And then Wayne Newton. And actually that year, Vic's came in number 10. The instrumental version by Burt Kaempfert came in 11, and Wayne Newton's came in 23. So I was actually kind of surprised Vic Dana was ahead of them because,
Well, I feel
Mhm.
like Wayne Newton's is more famous now.
yeah, I know.
Like long term, his
I
stood
wonder
the test
if
of
it's
time.
because he has a younger voice, so the younger crowd was listening to it, so that's the one they would remember, and then they would bring it on further.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Wayne Newton had a very wide range of fans.
Yeah,
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't just the younger people listen to him
true.
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
I don't know. It was interesting, and I didn't get a chance to listen to Vic Dana's. Their voice is kind of in the same.
I think I have
range, but-
his on one of my records, and if I'm remembering correctly, I still like Wayne's better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, Shelley, a note for you on this this writing duo. Sid Tepper and Royce Bennett also wrote "If I Had a Girl,"
Oh,
the song
okay.
you love by Rod Lauren. Yep. Yeah, they wrote a
that's a
lot of
good
great
one.
songs. I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like you think, oh, I love this singer because they have so many great songs, and I love all their songs, and I love this singer who has this song. Well, of course you love the songs because they're all written by the same people, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But a truly great group is one that sings, right, and produces, namely the Bee Gees.
Do you have a BG song for us this month?
I do, but I don't have any facts about it because I could not find anything on it. I have Blue Island by them, and it was released in 1993, and that's all I have.
And Barry just wouldn't pick up the phone, would he?
No. Tried several times.
I had a song like that. It was Blue Sky Shining by Marie Osmond. You couldn't find anything but the album and lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, I'm going to have an on that note now that you had one for me.
It's funny how like all of like our songs have connected points because there's been a few things that you've even brought up. It's like, oh, that connects to this one and on my
Mhm.
list.
Yeah, speaking of Marie Osmond, my number one is Deep Purple by Donnie and Marie Osmond. That was originally published in 1933 as a piano composition.
Oh,
And then Deep Purple became so popular in sheet music sales that Mitchell Parrish added lyrics in 1938. And it was sung by people like Bing Crosby, and there was a few others like Guy Lombardo. But the one that Donnie and Marie basically did note for note was Nino Tempo and April Stevens.
Hmm.
And that was released in 1963, and that was also a brother-sister duo.
oh, okay.
Um,
I've heard their version. I didn't know they were brother and sister.
Yeah, so it's very similar to Donnie and Marie's.
Yeah.
And you'd have to listen to it if you haven't heard it. But it says, according to Billboard Book of Number One Hits by Fred Bronson, when the duo first recorded the song as a demo, Tempo forgot the words and Stevens spoke the lyrics to the song to remind him. The record's producers thought Stevens' spoken interludes were cute and should be included on the finished product. But according to Stevens, Tempo didn't want anyone talking while he was singing.
Sounds like a
And-
brother and sister.
And actually, what's his name? Nino Tempo was younger.
Mm.
Oh.
So the brother was younger.
The brother was younger. Yep. And so I don't have a lot on Donnie and Marie's version, except it was released in 1975 and reached number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100.
So did the original keep in the "When the Deep Purple Falls," like the talking?
So that wasn't in the actual original.
No, but
no,
the
no.
Nino, the other brother and sister, did
Yeah, they
keep
kept it in.
They
They
made him
did.
keep it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Made her keep it in. Yeah, because then Donnie and Marie do that as well, don't they?
Uh-huh.
Or
That's
Marie
what
does the
Marie was
spoken.
copying.
It
Yeah.
adds a cool effect.
Yeah,
It does.
I like
Mhm.
that.
And she was just mothering her little brother, actually, making sure that he remember the words.
Sometimes it's a good thing.
How about some more songs over there in that corner?
Well, this song played all the time when I was a senior in high school. I don't know when it actually came out.
I should have written, if there's notes, there should be the release up in the corner there. Does it say?
Just says 73.
Which song?
I guess I should say that. Tie a Yellow Ribbon.
Yep, 73 was when it. Yep.
Yeah, but
came out.
when in 73?
That I would have to look up. I didn't look up, but I do
See,
know.
I could have been Footloose and Fancy Free in the latter part of 73. So.
True.
Yeah, by Tony Orlando. This song has been really misunderstood. I
It
think.
has.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
put everything to it. Of course, Tony Orlando was supposed to be getting out of prison or something.
In the
In the
song,
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not Tony
So-
Orlando.
Well, not
himself.
Tony Orlando, but the person singing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard it, it made me cry.
Me too. The first
Yeah,
time you
me
played
too.
it for me, I
Yeah.
definitely cried.
It's always, one of those rah songs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the original. This is what I heard, and you have written it here that it was from a soldier in in the
Civil War.
Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he wanted to. What was it saying that he?
So it was the same kind of thing, like he was a prisoner of war and he had written his love, and if
yeah,
she
I didn't know
still,
if he had written to her or not.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
if she still wanted
him. Yeah.
wanted a relationship then. And the interesting note that I saw this time when I was digging a little bit is the songwriter read this story about the Civil War soldier, and he said to tie a handkerchief around the tree. And he's like, that's not very romantic.
No.
So we're going
No.
to make a yellow ribbon. So he actually took two parts of history, because the yellow ribbon comes from Civil War time or after, when women would wear a yellow ribbon for their cavalry men
Mhm,
to
mhm.
signify that they were waiting for them to come home, in which I think I wrote this down there, in which they made a movie, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon with
Yeah,
John Wayne.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. I think I've
Okay.
seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense
think I
because
watched that
they
with
had the
Papa.
yellow handkerchief.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So somebody didn't they get in a discussion with us at one theater when we was doing
They thought it was a
Yes.
Vietnam.
the Vietnam thing.
well, and as I was reading, okay, I think they used it a little bit for Vietnam. They used it actually for some other wars and stuff
Yeah.
later on. Like, it has resurfaced to
Yeah.
be used basically as someone saying, "Hey, I'm waiting for my soldier."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people tend to put it onto each period that it's been
Mhm.
used
We had
instead of
Some neighbors do that.
do
Tie,
Tie a
yellow,
yellow
ribbons
ribbon.
around their tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, now it's just synonymous with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people thought that it was written about Vietnam. No, the one thing that it did have something tied to, and I need to read it again, it had something tied to Vietnam because there was this journalist, I think his name was Peter Hamlin, wrote a story, and it was around Vietnam. I don't know if he was a prisoner of war. I think he took the Civil War story
Mm.
and made it modern to the time
Mm.
about a Vietnam soldier.
Okay.
So those two things melded together, and that's where people say, well, it was about Vietnam, no, it was about Civil War. Technically, it was about Civil War. It was about cavalry times, because the yellow ribbon and the handkerchief, that was the origin.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what, the guy in the song had to be in some sort of prison. Whether it was he did something bad and went to prison and is now out, or he was a soldier and he was a prisoner of war, because he says in the song, I'm really still in prison. And my
it
love,
can't
she holds
be
the key.
Civil War times because he talks about the bus.
Well, the
Yeah.
Well,
that
he
was
modernized
That
it.
was up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
But no matter what, it is a song that everybody can sing to, and
Mhm.
everybody
Everybody.
does.
Mhm.
everybody.
Yep. And it charted, I think I wrote the notes, I don't know. It charted #1 in the US and England, I think for 4 weeks total,
Mm.
as #1.
It said the single by Tony Orlando and Dawn reached the top 10 in 10 countries.
Yes.
And it reached #1 on both the U.S. and U.K. charts for 4 weeks in April of '73. So
There you go.
I was still getting ready to graduate.
Yeah. I mean, that, oh, here was another note. I love this stuff, learning this stuff. It's so fascinating to me. So the people that wrote it at first wanted to give it to Ringo Starr.
I've heard that.
Could
You
kinda
have?
see that.
Okay,
I mean,
But his manager at the time or somebody involved said, no, that is the dumbest song I've ever heard. Take it away. Yeah, well, they
Yeah,
were
same
wrong.
thing Dean Martin said about That's Amore. So
and Tom Jones about Delilah.
Right.
Well, we'll have to talk about that one because
And Doris Day didn't
That's a
like
longer
Que
story.
Sera.
No.
Well, she didn't like Que Sera after a while.
No, she thought it
The
was
first
a silly
time.
song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
First time she had it, and then she got stuck with it.
ended up
Because
being
it
the
was
theme
such
song
a
of her TV show.
Major hit. It is very hard. People need to understand too that it's very hard sometimes as a singer because you're putting the feeling in and you're thinking about the words, and that's the perspective you come from. As a listener, you come from what you can sing to. And so the ones that are going to be hits are going to be ones that are easy to sing to that we all enjoy belting.
Yep.
And that's what sometimes as a singer you have to learn. You have to sing for what's going to be fun for people to sing to.
Yep.
And that's why I think, well, Tony Orlando and Dawn got the better end of the deal. Then it's
What was the song that surprised us the most in Texas that the men absolutely belted?
two actually that I have to say. I think the one you're thinking of is Sugar Sugar.
Nope.
Well, that one.
That one
that's-
surprised me.
That one kind of
That was
did.
more the
But,
women, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no.
But My Love by Petula Clark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That's
I was
it.
like, everybody
Mhm.
belted that out, you
Not
know.
just everybody, all the men. Like more so than the women. And it's kind of a
Yes,
girly
yes.
song.
Yeah, it was like, what?
I
It
know.
almost
Yeah.
blew your hair back
I
the way they were singing.
But
I
that
know.
is great to see in an
Mhm.
audience when
Yeah.
they'll just let loose and do that. And it's like, oh, you are really enjoying this and it's bringing back memories. You
Yeah.
can see it.
Because especially the men, they want to sing, but they mumble through most of it
Yep.
because they're a
Yeah.
little embarrassed. But
Yeah.
not that song.
No.
No. For some
No.
reason, a guy can sing that and it'd be cool or something.
I don't know, but that was great to see. Yeah, Tie a Yellow Ribbon. That is a great one.
Well, we are at 40 minutes, so we should probably do our promotional spot. I think we should focus more on the Facebook page today since this is the top 10 podcast. Still do go to our website, www.sisterlove.org, but please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're on both, so you just get top 10s first if you follow us on Facebook. Instagram, we post at the end of the month on our story on Instagram. But Facebook, what all do we do on our Facebook page, girls?
We do lives.
We do live videos. We do
The
Meet
cinematic
the Squad
celebrations.
Mondays on our birthday months. We do cinematic celebrations where we let you know a little bit about our favorite movies, all sorts of insight into the Sister Love life. So we would love to have you follow our Facebook page. All our events also get posted on there.
And I have to say, on the Facebook page, I know it's easy to watch, and we love bringing you along on the travels. Please just hit a like on the
Yes.
post
Yes.
because not that we're needing your acknowledgement, but it makes the post go through and it shares it with more people.
Yeah.
So if you want to know how you can help us, like the posts.
Yeah,
Share the posts.
You honestly don't realize how much that helps your favorite businesses, artists around you. Just that simple like. If you feel like dropping a comment, likes, shares, and views are the best. So it really helps to push the page through more than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, please go give us a like on Facebook, follow on Facebook, and we will see you over there.
Okay, can I do another one?
Did we vote?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
don't,
know.
I don't know.
Well,
She's awfully
you're
excited
banned.
about this one.
Well, I see how I'm felt about around here. Okay, this one is Blue Moon.
Okay.
And I like the version by the doo-wop group The Marcells,
I like
which was
that one, too.
released in 1961. The song is
I like
originally
the crooner version.
the song is originally from 1934.
34.
But
Yeah, that's right.
the Marcells were making an album and they had 3 songs left to record. And the producer Stu Phillips, who he was major music guy, didn't like any of them except he heard the same chord changes in one of the songs as in Heart and Soul and Blue Moon. And so he asked if any of them knew those songs. And one knew Blue Moon. The other, they didn't know the songs. And he taught the song to everybody else except the middle section. He taught it wrong, where they say, I heard somebody whisper.
Mm-hmm.
That part, he taught it wrong. So it's a little different.
Yeah, it
than-
is a little different.
Yeah.
Is this the doo-wop we're talking about with
Yeah, the
Marcel's?
doo-wop version. Yeah. And they wanted to cover Zoom by the Cadillacs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but the only part they kept in was that intro part. The whole, I don't know how it goes. It's like dum 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 ba dum ba dum dum bing ding ding da bing ba da da. It's something like that. Blue moon, blue.
Yeah.
So that's from Zoom by the Cadillacs.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So and they hadn't heard the song. The guy just liked
It's
it.
just the day of recording.
Yep, Stu Phillips. He did a lot of music for TV shows, not the actual themes, but like the background music.
Oh.
So like for McCloud, the Monkees, Battlestar Galactica, Knight Rider. He did the Buck Rogers in the 25th Century film.
Hmm.
So he did a lot for James Darren, Shelley Fabares.
Fun fact about that Buck Rogers thing, Jaylee didn't know about that until like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I did, Shelly.
She saw it in Walmart and she's like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "How do you not know what that is?"
I knew what it was. I'd heard you talk about it before, but I never seen it on DVD.
Yeah. Another funny thing is this guy, Stu Phillips, actually got an award for Best Ringtone of 2005 for Knight Rider.
Oh my word!
Oh my goodness.
Everybody
He did
had
the
that
theme.
on
I'm
there.
pretty sure he did the theme. So, yeah.
That's a different award to receive.
Best ringtone.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, and I still have quite a few on here, but some of these things have just a little blurb about them. Blue Blue Day by Don Gibson, written and performed by Don Gibson in 1958. Don Gibson, I'd have to say, is one of my favorite country singers. And he wrote a lot. Of course, one of my other favorites is Sea of Heartbreak, which doesn't have anything to do with color, so I couldn't pick it for this month. But Blue Blue Day I thought was perfect. And he wrote Sweet Dreams, which of course was a big hit for Patsy, and I Can't Stop Loving You, which ended up being a hit for Ray Charles. And the little note that I have about him is that in country music he was nicknamed the Sad Poet because he frequently wrote songs that told of loneliness and lost love. Which is true. He wrote a lot of sad songs, but even his sad songs sometimes have, a peppy beat, which is kind of neat.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Did you mean Ray Charles or Ray Price?
I Can't Stop Loving You?
Yeah.
Ray Charles, right? Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
Yeah.
a hit with that.
Oh.
If
Yeah.
you heard, if you heard his version, you would recognize it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's someone else. It's Johnny Tillotson.
Yeah, Johnny
know
Tillotson
Johnny's
does
version,
it too. Yeah.
And does
does.
Engelbert do that one?
He might have
maybe.
done a
I can
crossover
see
on that
him
Well,
one.
doing
Tom did. I know Tom Jones did.
Yeah, but Charles is really the
Made it.
yeah
The
Famous.
one.
yeah.
Yep.
I could even see him playing it and
Yeah,
singing it.
me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a note on Ray Charles. It's actually has nothing to do with the colors, but it's from We Are the World. The the song that Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie wrote, and a bunch of artists performed it. And Springsteen and Billy Joel were standing around talking about their hits and everything. Kind of talking to each other about them. And they were basically saying, who has better talent or whatever. And this is Lionel talking. I got this from Lionel, and not personally.
Just called Lionel out coffee the other day.
Yeah, no. And then Ray Charles walked in, and Billy Joel goes, "Well, here's the real talent."
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He was very talented. I do have to make a quick mention on my list because I have 2 songs. I don't know if anybody else really did, but I have 2 songs that the color's not in the title.
I have a couple.
Yeah. So we already talked in the last episode
Yeah.
about one of the songs, and that's Jean, which is one of my all-time favorites, Jean by Oliver. And I picked it because, it says roses are red and all of the leaves have gone green. And it has color in it, and it's just one of my very favorite songs. And I think we talked last week about how that was used in a movie and was a major hit. He really only had 2 major song hits, Jean and Good Morning Starshine, I believe. And then the other one that I had on here, which does not say a color, is Visions by Cliff Richard. And that song is because it's visions of you in shades of blue. So it just has blue in it, and it's one of my favorites. What, Shelley? I know I sing it a lot.
No. She's just thinking of the parody we made up of it.
Oh. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Is it kind?
Oh, it's fine. It's because Shelly has like vintage magazine pinups on her wall. And yes, it's vintage on her Orlando
She has-
Bloom
It's not
pinup
quite
is
vintage. Okay.
Yeah, she has
it's counted as-
posters.
It's counted as a. It's probably from what 2005.
2003 probably.
Hey, I'm vintage.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so there's this poster. Yeah, let's go. There's this poster of Orlando Bloom on Shelly's wall because she thinks he's cute. So
Who wouldn't?
as I'm going around singing this song so deeply, somebody got clever and sang Visions of Bloom in Shelley's room, posted on her wall, staring at us all. We see the whole night through. So anyway, yeah, that's the parody version.
We do that quite a bit.
I know it's always to the songs that I love so much.
It's not just you.
Not
I
just your
know.
song. It's usually Elsie, and she like totally ruins the song for you.
But anyway, Visions, yeah, so it's one of my favorites. It's off of the record Love Songs. And a note that I had about that one that I did not realize is on his It's Cliff Richard show. That was the bridge he would use to close because it goes, "When will we meet again?" Which I thought was kind of clever. They
Yes.
used that.
Cool.
So I only have one song that doesn't have the color in the title. And okay, people might think I was grasping a little bit, but it does talk about a color, and it's lipstick on your collar, because it talks about the shades of the lipstick, right?
In the second verse.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
does.
okay.
In the second. Okay. Plus, I sing that one, and I really like that one. It's just so fun. Connie Francis is so cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have too many notes on that one. I don't think, except for Howard Greenfield, who was with Jack Keller on Venus and Blue Jeans. He wrote it with Neil Sedaka.
Oh.
No, I'm saying that wrong. They wrote the B-side. The B-side was Frankie.
Oh, okay.
Which they put on there because Frankie Avalon was so popular at that time that they thought that it would be a really big hit for her.
And didn't you have a note from an article of one of your teen magazines from the
Yeah, so
60s?
I honestly don't know how true this one is. It was, yes, in a magazine, but
What year was the magazine? Do you know?
1960, I believe.
Okay.
Now, when did Lipstick on Your Collar come out?
It was released in 1959, May 1959.
So the article might have been 1960.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was this journalist who was very good friends with the stars, and she would interview them and stuff. And her best friend was Connie Francis.
Yep.
And so she had this major crush on Frankie Avalon.
This journalist.
This journalist did. And so Connie Francis actually said she'd sing this song basically in honor of her crush on Frankie Avalon. So I don't know if this is true. I mean, judging from the article she wrote about him, she thought they were getting serious. Now, I don't know how true that is.
We'd have to hear Frankie's perspective.
Yeah.
You said you had a song that's not in the title. The color's not in the title.
I did have a note
Uh-huh.
on Lipstick on Your Collar, though. One thing that I read, and it wasn't particularly about this song, but it was a quote from Connie Francis talking about a female in the rock and roll era. She said it was actually really hard to be that kind of artist because all the women were trying to go be the, rock and roll, come on here, baby, and, be like a guy basically in their
Tougher.
music because those were the lyrics and tunes that were popular. But she said she took the more feminine approach and took the cutesy lipstick on your collar and Everybody's Somebody's Fool, those kind of songs to kind of be the female version of rock and roll.
Yeah. I think that was a smart move. I know also, and now that we're talking about Connie Francis, although he caused unhappiness too in her life, but because she didn't get to marry Bobby Darin.
Yeah.
But her dad did have a very smart move with the song Who's Sorry Now? Because that was a 20s song, I think.
so.
She didn't want to record because it was so, long ago in that. And he says, let's rearrange it. And she had a major hit with it.
Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, Mandy.
Okay, so it's What a Wonderful World,
Mm.
by sung by Louis Armstrong. It was recorded in 1967.
Mhm.
So I thought it was recorded earlier. But it said in there that that was the kind of tone that they wanted, actually. It's like a 40s tune. It was produced or written by Bob Thiel. He was a producer at ABC Records. And he was big into jazz and that. And they just recently signed Louis Armstrong on. And they said this is his song.
It's true too. I mean, down through the years, he has made. There's other versions that I can say per se I like better, but he's the one that has made that trademark.
Yeah. It's his signature song, and just
Yeah.
when you think of the song, you can't help but think of him.
Yeah, and he's got such a unique voice.
Different, yes.
Shelley's not a big Louis Armstrong fan, but
It actually fits his voice very well.
it does. It really does.
Yeah.
He has such character in his voice.
That and Hello Dolly fits his voice.
He's fun in Hello Dolly.
What year was that?
Hello Dolly. Oh,
I want to say it was around that time.
Wasn't it
Look
in
it
the
up.
70s?
No.
It was late 60s,
It'd
though,
be
I believe.
60s.
Maybe mid-60s. I was surprised that Sound of Music came out in 65.
Yep.
Thought that was earlier.
The Hello Dolly.
1969 is the movie when it was released.
So 2 years after that.
Linda, did you... Oh, no, you didn't have any that didn't have it in the title.
Nope, I stayed to script.
I have one that isn't in the title, and it's pretty self-explanatory because it's Joseph's Coat.
Oh, Joseph, an amazing Technicolor
There's-
Dreamcoat.
Enough colors mentioned in that song to make up for it not being in the title.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have two, I believe, and that'd be Pleasant Valley Sunday and Sheila. Pleasant Valley Sunday is just because the second verse has Mr. Green and Mrs. Gray. So I kind of, slid that one in there. But Sheila was written by Tommy Rowe and originally called Frita. Not Frida, Frita. Because of a girl from his high school. But during an
Sheila's better.
audition, yeah, Sheila's better. During an audition, the producer thought they should change the name, and Tommy Rowe's aunt Sheila was visiting. So that's where they got that. And the Beatles actually covered it on stage, where George sang the main.
That'd be
I could
interesting
hear
to
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could hear him doing that.
My turn?
Yep.
Well, I have two left. I'll go with this one up here because, okay, I'm going to confess something.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I'm a big Elvis Presley movie fan,
Yes.
Mhm.
Love his movies.
okay? Some of them are a little,
Yeah, there's a few we don't like. but
they're typical, but they're fun.
most of them, yes.
And I think Elvis, by and large, he could have been a very good actor more than given credit.
well, yeah.
I've only been
Because-
traumatized by one.
Well, Love Me Tender, I mean, he
He's
was
a really good actor
a
in that.
serious one
Yeah.
there.
I kind of
But-
want to watch that one.
Anyhow, Blue Hawaii. This is one of my favorites, mainly because I like Angela Lansbury.
Yes.
Yes, I was just going to
Yes.
say
So
that.
good.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And I
Yep.
love Angela Lansbury. What did she call him?
Oh, I
And
always
it-
forget.
Oh, he didn't go by it. She called it because she was had a southern accent.
Yeah.
And
Which
she's
is
British,
amazing,
And she
actually.
does an amazing southern accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she acts so southern. Like, normally Angela Lansbury is very British.
Yes.
Like, very prim and proper. And yes,
Yeah.
no, she is so,
Now watch it.
Sweetie.
Uh-huh.
Be nice.
yeah, yeah. It's just,
Uh,
more relaxed and,
Yeah.
yeah,
um,
flirty.
the song is you wrote. The song received numerous cover versions, mostly successfully as the title track for Elvis. This one film. It's because it was written in 1937.
Yeah.
For a Paramount Pictures film, Waikiki Wedding, starring Bing Crosby and Shirley Ross. We have to watch that.
I know. I've never watched that.
Yeah.
And it's so surprising because Elvis made it such a big hit that I did not think it was written for another movie.
Yeah. Well, he has
Earlier
a way
on.
of making those songs his.
Was it written
Mhm.
for the movie, or was it?
No, it was written for this one, the Waikiki.
Yeah,
For
yeah, That's
37.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or was
Yeah.
it written even before that movie? Because I felt like I read somewhere it was written in the ukulele era.
Well, it's
It is
1937.
37.
Okay.
They were
Yeah.
big in the 30s. Yeah.
Mhm.
20s to 30s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Hawaii was big.
I should have did my homework.
Well,
So I didn't.
I think I had in the notes there though that his album of Blue Hawaii stayed number 1 in the album charts for 2 weeks.
21.
21
consecutive-
weeks. Yeah,
Yeah,
21,
consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a really good soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say the
Yeah.
songs in that movie
Uh-huh.
are really fun. And some of them of course are written by Sid Tapper and you know,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
Slice and
Tapper.
Sand is on that one, isn't
Yep,
it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep,
Did
that I
they
was
do?
talking about.
What's the one?
Well, they wrote a third of the songs for it, it said.
yeah.
so.
What's the one he sings in the car?
I
was Almost Always True
to You.
Baby, I was
Yeah.
always. Yeah, I
That
love
really
one.
has some of the greatest songs.
Yeah, I
Hawaii.
love that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I do.
That's good.
I'd have to say that's probably my second favorite. It's hard. Now we're just talking about Elvis movies, but I really like Girl Happy.
Yeah, that one's
That's
good.
probably my favorite for songs and everything.
But It Happened at the World's Fair is really good
Oh,
too.
I
That one
like
has
that
One Broken
one.
Heart for sale.
I don't
I
know if
like
I've ever.
Follow That Dream.
That one
Yes.
is
That
probably
one
the
is
funniest.
Yes.
I
That's,
think.
that's funniest because it has what's the actor's name?
We just saw it.
Just saw his
Too much
name.
pressure.
Yeah.
Still
too much pressure.
You have to watch Follow That Dream if you haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's so
Oh,
good.
my word.
Yeah,
That one's really got a lot of quotable lines. That one's
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
when he goes to borrow money out of the bank.
Oh, that whole scene. Yeah, and Floyd from Andy Griffith.
Yes, it's
Isn't
on
it?
Yeah.
Oh my word. So good. Yeah, that one's packed with great actors, great character actors.
Yes, yes.
Mhm. Yeah, because even the gangsters in it are guys that play gangsters and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
Yeah.
head guy plays what is his name on F Troop? The Indian
He
chief.
does, doesn't he? Flying Eagle.
Flying Eagle. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the
he
head
plays
gangster.
the head gangster, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of named my shark Squishmallow after Elvis in that movie. His name's Toby.
Yeah. And yeah, what's your other song?
Little Green Apples.
Oh, I
yeah.
love that
That
song.
Yeah. Written by Bobby Russell, 1968. Originally written for Roger Miller,
Yeah.
which he did record, but was also released as a single by Patti Page and O.C. Smith, all in 1968. And Bobby Russell received Grammy for the Song of the Year and Best Country Song.
Yeah, because it's so. I love it because it's one of those where he writes it like you're literally sitting there in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He says-
similar to different kind of feel, but similar to Ode to Billy Joe.
Right,
the
the
way
way
it's
the
written.
conversation is.
Mhm.
You know, I wake up in the morning, my hair in my face, and she says hi, and yeah, the kids are off to school. Goodbye. It's
Let's
just
just say that one's a lot more lighthearted.
yeah, true.
Did you see it all when you were looking into it? Bobby Goldsboro's version charted, didn't it?
I
'Cause
didn't
it
look
was
too
on the
deep.
same album as Honey, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Um,
you like that version, Jalen.
I do really like Bobby Goldsboro's version.
of Little Green Apples.
Whose version did you have?
BJ Thomas
Miller.
also
Roger
did
Miller.
it, arranged by Burt Bacharach on the album with Raindrops.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting arrangement. Like, I'm kind of used to it now. I have it on, vinyl, so you don't skip the song. So you get, used to it. When I first heard it, I'm like, this is really different. But Burt Bacharach did some interesting things with that song.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm a big Roger Miller fan, so I love Roger Miller's edition.
She's got her little fake lighter out, waving it.
Yeah,
She's a fan.
I even like Roger Miller's Honey. It's different. It's more folky, and it's not. I will say it doesn't sound as personal. I guess it's more like you're listening to him tell a story around a campfire. But I love Roger Miller's voice.
Can you feel the disagreement in this room right now?
We'll just forget you said that.
I like Bobby Goldsboro best, of course.
In my
Nobody-
opinion,
nobody
that
can
one's
beat-
untouchable.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just me. But you didn't talk about Love is Blue.
Love is Blue.
That's your number one. I didn't
That's
have
my-
any
oh,
notes
yeah, you
on
didn't have
it.
any notes on
But
it.
it did come out. Paul Moriarty's instrumental version came out in '68.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that.
Okay, I'll tell you the story. The first time I heard it, I was in junior high, and we were in the lunchroom, and for some reason or other, our lunchroom had it was a multi-purpose room, is what it was called, and it had a little stage, and we were decorating it, and I don't know what for, but I have a vague remembering of tissue flowers, making those.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can think of is that maybe it was for the 8th grade graduation or something like that.
Yeah.
It was at the end of the year, so I don't know what. I thought, wow, this is a great song.
Was
Of
it
course,
the lyrics?
My
I was
friend
wondering
knew
that.
about it. I didn't.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
was
You
wa-
get the look. Everybody knows that song.
Was it with lyrics or without
Yeah, I was
lyrics?
wondering that.
Yeah, it was with the lyrics.
I wonder who was singing it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because there's for Al
wait a minute, let
Martino
me
sing
think
it.
about it.
Andy Williams sang it. I know.
Yeah.
But 68, I'd have to look up who. Because the instrumental version was released in 68.
Yeah, maybe it was just the instrumental. You know, the older you get, the more memories mush together.
That's already
I even
happening
have
to
that.
me.
You know. So, but I do remember. I can remember. You know, different periods in your life. All of a sudden, it just kind of seals in. In your brain, this
I-
picture of. Where you were at and.
I think especially where music's involved, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's funny how that song puts you back, in that moment. Because you've told me that when that came on, of that memory. And I honestly think that music and sound can hold our memories.
Right. I do
Because
too.
they talk about that, like how people who even are having memory problems and that, they
Yep.
comes back with a song.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know it in my life. A certain song comes on and it can be good or bad. You can hate a song just because of where you were
Yeah.
or who you were with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It gives you a whole different feeling. Or you can love a song just because, it had a good memory attached to it.
Yeah, this was just unusual. The music. I don't know. I hadn't heard it. It was very pretty to me.
Yeah.
Well, it has a very Renaissance feel
Yeah.
to it.
It does.
Yeah.
Medieval.
It
yeah.
really does.
It was different than yummy, yummy, yummy. You got love in your tongue.
That's a deep one right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was. People played. I thought that was the dumbest song. People like to sing it.
Yeah.
Speaking of another, I guess it's not dumb, it's kind of clever, but song that hit #1 on the pop charts in 1958 from June 9th to July 14th was One-Eyed One-Horn Flying Purple People Eater.
Number one.
#1
Yes,
Really?
I
on the
remember
pop
hearing
charts
that.
by Sheb Woolley.
Well, he delivers it so well.
Yeah,
Why
he
would he
does.
not?
And
so fun.
it was inspired because of his friend, who was another songwriter, Don Robertson's son, his child.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
it was just a child.
What
so I
does
don't know.
this
Child
child
look
look
like
like?
a one-eyed people eater.
No, he came up to him and said, "What has one horn, one eye, flies, and eats people?" And he says, "A one-eyed, one-horn flying people eater."
Mm-hmm.
And it inspired him, so he added purple in,
Mm-hmm.
and he wrote it within an hour. And he said, "Undoubtedly, it's the worst song I've ever written."
Obviously not. It hit number one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's such a character, and he's a good actor. Like on Rawhide. He's on Rawhide.
Who's he playing?
Sheb Woolley. Yeah.
Uh,
I can't remember the name. Frank? Or
Something like that. He's a regular.
yeah. I'm not sure what name he goes by on Rawhide,
He's one
but
of the cowhands.
So what is everybody's main color?
oh, the most color that I have.
Blue.
I think I'm blue too.
Let's see.
I would
Oh.
have to say blue.
Actually, it looks like for me blue and red are in a tie. And that's only by the titles.
Yeah.
I have all different colors.
Yeah.
I do have all the different colors too. I have purple, blue, rainbow, another rainbow because Joseph's coat, green, brown, and red.
I
a
have
variety.
4 blues, 1 green. Lipstick is technically pink and green.
and
2
green?
golds.
Pink and
No,
green?
pink and green. Pink and red. Sorry, I was
Well,
reading
jealousy,
green
you
while I
know.
was saying. 2 golds, 1 silver, white.
Yeah, that kind of brings me to a song here that I have to talk just a little bit about because it actually has lots of memories for me. What Dress to Wear by Jenny Arnell.
Yes.
And that actually was one of those when I was in high school, music appreciation, or maybe it was just in the evening. Linda and I were looking through songs and came across this random one. I Wish I Knew What Dress to Wear, and it is such a sad song.
Yes.
And it talks about what color dress she's trying to wear because she has to go to this party and be brave, even though the guy she loves is going to be with another girl. And she doesn't have, Jenny Arnell, in my opinion, doesn't have the prettiest voice. But it definitely fits the song.
Yes.
And that song was huge with me when I was a teenager. I loved listening to it. And reading a little bit about her, I think I knew this, but I had forgotten. She got famous because she was on various different television programs. And then her manager asked her to team up with another young star, local star, who was a guy whose name was Gene Pitney.
Oh.
So, and they actually have almost identical voices. He's like
I
the
could see
male
that.
version of which their voices together. I don't know how I would feel about that if I could listen to much of it. But they went under another name. I think it was Gene and Jamie or something like that. And yeah, she had some other hits. Some of her hits I did not understand. But they were big with the teenagers. But that song in particular, yeah, I Wish I Knew What Dress to Wear, talks about a lot of different colors and just about the pain that you go through of growing up and like your first heartbreak.
No hit should surprise you after Purple People Eater.
How many colors did you had all different colors, didn't you?
Yes.
How about you?
I had mostly blue, but
Mhm.
I had orange and green, and then crimson and clover.
Over and over?
So
Clover's not a color.
Crimson is though.
the clover is a color. It's green.
No, it's not.
Maybe in Crayola world.
It's either green or purple because the flowers are technically purple.
Well, that's true.
Haven't you watched Bambi?
I have. Anyways, I have two more. My number 10 is The Orange and Green by the Irish Rovers.
Oh, about the
Okay.
flag?
Okay, no, this is Wikipedia, so I'm not sure, okay, but it says that it's a humorous Irish folk song about a man whose father was Protestant, which is orange, and a mother who was Catholic, which is green. It describes the man's trial as a religious intermarriage and how mixed up he became from the upbringing.
Is that why their flag is that? Is the orange and the green?
And it was written by Anthony Murphy of Liverpool. It doesn't say when it was written, though.
Well, that's an interesting historical one.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Crimson and Clover one. It was written by Tommy James
And the Shondells.
and the Shondells. Where am I at? Tommy James. It was written by Tommy James and Peter Lucia. Is it okay? Anyways, it was done in 1968, and how the title became is up for grabs between them two. Tommy says it. He says it. He said he got it for when he woke up from a dream. He says, "Oh, Crimson and Clover." Peter says he got the phrase when he was watching his high school football team, Crimson and Clover. So we don't know who was
I
right.
think I go with the second one.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the one song that was played, the end song at every dance that I think I ever went to.
Over and over?
and
Over and over. And then in the middle, that's when it kind of goes
You don't know
like,
how to dance, right?
okay, are you supposed to slow dance or not or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Breaks into confusion right there.
Well, I have one more, and this is my number 2. And it's Blue, Armed with Love by Wham. I really like Wham. And the fact about this one is George Michael and Andrew Wrigley spent 11 hours they had available putting the track together, but it wasn't fully finished and ended up being released in its incomplete state as the B-side of Club Tropicana. So I really want to get that
That
45 and see what it actually sounded like when it was originally
Right. Because was it released then on Make It Big as a full song? Or
It wasn't on Make It Big. It was on, I don't know what the album's called. It was after Make It Big.
Do you know what
Oh,
the
okay.
cover is?
because it was 1986, and that's technically when they were broken up, but it was released on 2 albums. So,
Interesting.
Well, I did want to mention before we went, because when my top 10 was posted, there definitely was one song that stood out as people's favorites over all the others. And that was number 2, Blue Bayou. It's one that I know we have had requested several times at shows, and we do perform now. But when I was looking into it, everybody knows Linda Ronstadt's version because she just nails it so well. But it was originally released in 1963 by Roy Orbison.
Yeah.
Because he wrote it.
Yep.
Right? Well, him and Joe Melson. Its B-side was Mean Woman Blues, which was a cover of an Elvis song. And his version, let's see, both sides of that single went to number 3 in the UK. It was released actually as a B-side in the US.
The Blue Bayou was?
Blue Bayou by Roy Orbison was, and it only reached number 29. But the A-side, which was an Elvis cover, reached number 5. Then Linda got it, and it was put on her album Simple Dreams, which, rabbit trail here, was produced by Peter Asher, who is of Peter and Gordon.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were telling me that.
Yeah, who was actually her manager. He managed Kate Taylor, right? Kate Taylor, James Taylor's sister. And she decided to retire, but she's like, hey, you need to pick up Linda Ronstadt. And so he did, and he produced a lot of her albums, including that one. And her version hit number 3 on the Billboard Top 100 for 4 weeks, number 2 on the country charts, number 3 on easy listening charts, and number 2 for 4 weeks on Cashbox Top 100s, which was, it sounds like it was kind of a competitor to Billboard. It was another music industry magazine.
I want to know who took the picture. The album cover.
I know, that one is really cool. It's where she
That
has the
is
flower
so
in her hair.
cool.
Oh, the flower in her
She's
head.
No.
is all
looking back. Yeah.
It is?
Yep.
Simple things.
That's Simple Dreams.
Simple Dreams.
I know Blue Bayou from the one where she's looking in the mirror. And
No.
that
Oh,
was probably on
That's
that
a
one too.
Might
re-release
have been
because that's her
re-release.
greatest
Okay.
hits. I have that one.
But
Yeah.
it was the very first of her 3 gold singles. And, random note, the guy singing backup on it is actually Don Henley, who sings a lot of lead vocals for the Eagles.
Yeah. No, Linda Ronstadt, I admire her so much. Like her singing and her talent and the way that she could go with any genre and make it a hit.
now earlier we were talking about how you misunderstand titles. And when I was little,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a bayou. I thought he was blue by him.
Oh, that
Blue
makes sense.
by you.
Like blue standing by you. Like
Yep.
blue by
Yep.
you.
Whenever I hear that song, I think of the Bayou on Rescuers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
kind of
can
a
see
creepy
that.
bayou, but I mean, it's called Devil's Bayou. But it's still, I always think of that. Yeah. That
Well, it's cozy
scene.
where the little animals are, you know.
And I always think of Penny's song in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fun episode. I hope that
Yes.
everybody enjoyed going through our songs about color, which songs with color in it. And please let us know what your favorites were from the charts, and please let us know if you have any memories with them, special stories, maybe some other great historical facts that we didn't know or didn't cover. So we will have an episode out next week, and I think since it's the first week of June, we'll be doing our next secondhand songs, correct?
Yep, cover song comparisons will be next week.
Okay, well, thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, keep listening to great music. Bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless.